In life, many people wait. They wait for the right time, for motivation, for someone to save them, or for the path to become easy. But nothing changes. Nothing changes if you don't. You see, the seed does not grow because it wishes to. It grows because it breaks its own shell. Without that fracture, no light reaches it, and no life begins. In the same way, your change does not begin outside of you. It begins when you break your own shell, your patterns, your excuses, your fears. People often ask, how can I change my life? The answer is simple. Change yourself. If your mind is still filled with doubt, fear, distraction, and blame, then no new result will arrive, even if the world around you transforms. Because transformation is not what you see, it's what you become. You are not stuck because of your surroundings. You are stuck because of your resistance to act with truth, clarity, and purpose. And what is truth? Truth is not complicated. It is silent. It is still. It is the whisper that says, you must begin, even if you are tired, even if you are afraid, even if no one believes in you. You must begin. Do not wait for motivation. Motivation is a guest, it visits and it leaves. Discipline, however, is your companion. It wakes with you, it walks with you, and it carves a new path one step at a time. Each day you delay, your habits grow stronger. Each day you choose silence over action, comfort over effort. You feed the part of you that wants to stay small. But remember, you were not born to stay hidden. You were born to unfold. You were born to express the highest form of yourself, but only if you are willing to participate in your own becoming. Pain will come, resistance will come. Let them come. They are not enemies. They are the test. And if you keep walking, they become the path. So ask yourself, not tomorrow, not next year, but now, are you willing to change? Are you willing to rise earlier, to move with purpose, to cut what poisons your peace? Are you willing to meet yourself fully and honestly? Because if you are not, then nothing changes. Not your habits, not your results, not your life. But if you are, if you truly are, then no force on earth can stop what is about to awaken within you. Stand up, breathe in, take the first step, and remember, nothing changes if you don't. Personal responsibility is the first gate to any meaningful change in life. It is the moment when you stop pointing fingers at the world, your upbringing, your past, or other people, and instead look directly at yourself. It's a profound turning point where blame no longer has a place and excuses begin to lose their power. When a person accepts full ownership of their actions, decisions, thoughts, and even the direction of their life, transformation becomes possible. Without this inner shift, no external change can truly take root or last. Most people want to improve their lives. They want better health, deeper relationships, more peace, more success. But wanting something is not enough. Without responsibility, all those desires remain hollow. Responsibility is the bridge between intention and action. It's the discipline to act even when it's uncomfortable. It's realizing that no one else can make you grow. No one else can do the inner work for you. And no one else is to blame if you choose not to rise. Taking responsibility means understanding that every thought you feed, every habit you repeat, and every emotion you allow to control you, all of these are your own. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. That response is your responsibility. And in that response lies your power. Many people try to change their environment, their relationships, or their circumstances without ever changing themselves. But the external world is only a reflection of the internal world. If your mind is chaotic, your life will be chaotic. If your spirit is undisciplined, your path will be scattered. Responsibility is also about facing your shadows. It's admitting when you are wrong. It's recognizing your flaws. Not to feel ashamed, but to refine yourself. It is not about perfection. It's about awareness and ownership. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? That shift is where growth begins. Personal responsibility does not imprison you. It frees. Because once you accept that you are the author of your actions, you realize that you are also the author of your future. And in that realization, the gate opens. What lies beyond it is determined not by chance, but by choice. Discipline precedes transformation because without structure, intention remains only a wish. Real change does not occur in moments of inspiration, but in the quiet repetition of daily action. It is easy to feel motivated for a short time, but motivation is unreliable. It rises and falls like the weather. Discipline, however, is consistent. It is the silent force that shows up when you don't feel like it, that persists when results are not yet visible, and that holds the line when your old habits try to return. Transformation requires commitment, and discipline is that commitment made visible. True change is not dramatic, it is subtle. It begins in the unseen places, waking up earlier than usual, choosing silence over distraction, showing up to practice without applause. These are not big events, but they are powerful. Discipline is what turns these small decisions into lasting habits, and habits repeated over time shape identity. You cannot change your life without first changing your patterns, and those patterns are built by discipline. Many people desire transformation. They imagine a version of themselves that is stronger, more focused, more peaceful, more aligned. But imagining is not becoming. Becoming requires effort. It demands sacrifice. You must give up the comfort of your excuses. You must let go of what is easy and instead choose what is necessary. That is the essence of discipline. It is not punishment, it is purpose. It is a daily decision to stay loyal to the person you are trying to become, even when the current version of you tries to pull you back. Discipline teaches patience. It reveals that growth does not happen overnight. There are days when progress feels invisible, but the disciplined individual understands that seeds grow in silence before they ever rise above the ground. Transformation happens the same way, slowly, quietly, and then all at once. The world notices only the result, but you know it was built in solitude through daily discipline. If you skip this step, if you wait for the right mood or the perfect time, you will stay in the same place year after year. But if you choose discipline, even when it's difficult, you begin the process of real transformation. And once transformation begins, nothing remains the same. Not your outer world reflects your inner world, because life is not just happening to you, it is happening through you. The reality you experience is deeply connected to the thoughts you entertain, the emotions you hold, and the beliefs you carry within. When your inner world is full of chaos, fear, or confusion, that same energy will manifest in your environment, your relationships, and your actions. But when the mind is clear, the heart is steady, and your intentions are aligned, your outer world begins to mirror that harmony. True change, therefore, never begins outside. It starts with what you cultivate within. People often try to fix the external, changing jobs, places, people, thinking it will bring peace or happiness. But no change in location or circumstance can quiet a restless mind. If you carry the same thoughts, the same doubts, and the same self-destructive habits, they will follow you wherever you go. Your outer reality becomes a projection of your internal condition. If you feel stuck, look within. If you keep facing the same problems, ask yourself what patterns you haven't yet resolved inside. Every complaint, every conflict, and every repeated disappointment can be traced back to something within you that is unresolved. This is not about blame, it's about awareness. It's the realization that the world is constantly showing you a reflection. What frustrates you in others may be something you haven't yet accepted or healed in yourself. What you envy may be pointing to the potential you've neglected. And what brings you peace often reflects a part of yourself you've honored. If you want to see clarity in your life, create clarity in your thoughts. If you want deeper connections with others, build compassion and understanding within. The world cannot offer you what you have not yet offered yourself. Joy, love, focus, discipline, these are cultivated first in your inner garden, and only then do they appear in your life as outcomes. This is why practices like stillness, meditation, and self-reflection are not luxuries, they are necessities. They help align your inner world so your actions become deliberate and your path becomes clear. When the inner world is ordered, the outer world falls into place. So instead of asking how to fix your life, ask how to refine your mind and spirit. Because the outer world is nothing more than a mirror, does not lie. Avoiding discomfort is avoiding growth, because all meaningful change requires you to leave the safety of what is known. Growth begins the moment you step into the unknown, into the space where things are uncertain, unfamiliar, and uncomfortable. It's in that space where your limits are tested and your strength is revealed. Yet, many people retreat the moment discomfort appears. They mistake it for danger, when in truth it is a signal that transformation is near. Without discomfort, there is no pressure to evolve. Without challenge, there is no reason to adapt. Growth cannot exist inside the boundaries of comfort. Comfort is seductive. It offers a sense of ease, predictability, and control. But it also comes with a price, stagnation. When you stay too long in your comfort zone, you begin to shrink. Your dreams become smaller, your confidence weakens, and your potential remains untapped. Discomfort, on the other hand, is the training ground of the soul. It's where resilience is built, clarity is found, and purpose is refined. Every struggle, every failure, every difficult conversation you avoid is an opportunity denied. Each one holds a lesson that only discomfort can teach. The path to growth is not always painful, but it is always challenging. It asks you to let go of excuses, to confront your fears, and to take responsibility for your choices. It demands discipline when motivation fades and persistence when progress feels invisible. Discomfort shows up when you wake up earlier than you want, when you choose truth over convenience, when you commit to action despite uncertainty. These moments, though small, shape who you become. If you wait for growth to feel easy, you wait forever. The strongest minds, the most peaceful hearts, and the most disciplined spirits are not born that way. They are shaped through discomfort. The person you admire, the version of yourself you dream to be, was not created in ease. It was forged in moments of trial, in situations where quitting was an option, but wasn't chosen. So instead of running from discomfort, begin to respect it. Let it guide you. Let it show you where your edges are. The more willing you are to lean into the discomfort, the more rapidly you grow. Avoiding it is not safety, it is self-denial. Because every step you avoid out of fear is a step away from who you are meant to become. Awareness leads to alignment because without awareness, you move blindly through life, reacting instead of responding, repeating patterns instead of creating purpose. Awareness is the light that reveals your current state, not just where your body is, but where your thoughts, emotions, and intentions are pointing. It is the beginning of all conscious transformation. When you become aware of your thoughts, your behavior, and your inner dialogue, you begin to see the gap between who you are and who you want to be. That clarity is the first step toward realignment. Many people live misaligned lives, not because they are lazy or unwilling, but because they are unaware. They don't realize how much of their energy is wasted on distractions, how often their actions contradict their values, or how their words no longer reflect their deepest truth. Without awareness, your days are consumed by habits and noise, and you drift further from your purpose. But once you cultivate awareness, even in small doses, you start to feel the disconnection. And that feeling is not a punishment. It's a call to come back to yourself. Alignment is not perfection. It is the state in which your thoughts, feelings, and actions move in the same direction. You know what you believe in, and you live in a way that reflects it. You no longer have to pretend, to force, or to chase. Instead, life flows with less resistance because your inner world and outer behavior are no longer in conflict. This state can only be achieved through honest awareness of your needs, your values, your fears, and your strengths. The more you strengthen awareness, the more natural alignment becomes. You begin to recognize when something feels off. You notice when you're acting out of fear instead of wisdom, or when you're saying yes to things that are slowly disconnecting you from your purpose. Awareness gives you the power to pause, to choose differently, and to redirect your energy toward what actually matters. Through awareness, you begin to walk with clarity. You are no longer pulled by old wounds or unconscious desires. You act with intention, speak with truth, and move with balance. And that is where peace is found, not in controlling the world around you, but in aligning the world within. Because once you are aligned, the external world begins to shift to match the strength and stillness of your inner one. Daily actions create destiny because your future is not built in grand moments. It is shaped in the quiet repetition of what you choose to do every single day. Most people search for turning points, waiting for a big opportunity or breakthrough to suddenly change their lives. But destiny is not created in a moment of luck. It is created in your habits, your routines, and the discipline with which you meet each sunrise. What you repeatedly do becomes who you are. Every small decision adds up, even when it seems insignificant. There is no destiny without deliberate daily action. People often underestimate the power of the ordinary. They believe transformation requires something dramatic, but the truth is change happens in silence. It's built in those early hours when no one is watching, in the choice to study rather than scroll, to train rather than talk, to meditate rather than escape. These moments may not seem powerful in isolation, but over time they build momentum, and that momentum becomes identity. What you do daily becomes what you believe about yourself, and what you believe shapes the life you create. If your actions are scattered, your results will be scattered. If your habits are reactive, your life will feel out of control. But when your actions align with your vision, even in small ways, you begin to build a life with direction. This is why consistency is more important than intensity. Anyone can act with focus for a day, but few people commit to doing the right things every day, especially when motivation fades. But destiny favors the consistent. The one who plants seeds every day eventually walks through a forest of their own making. Your future does not begin tomorrow, it begins today, in how you speak, in how you move, in how you treat others, and most importantly, in how you treat yourself. Discipline, growth, peace, these are not destinations, they are practices. They are built with each sunrise, each breath, and each decision to act with purpose. So if you want to know what your destiny will be, look closely at what you do each day. The patterns are already forming. Your actions are the architects of your future, and each day, whether you realize it or not, you are casting votes for the person you are becoming. Silence and stillness reveal truth because in the absence of noise, distraction, and constant movement, what is real begins to emerge. In today's world, many people are constantly surrounded by activity, voices, screens, tasks, and endless demands. The mind becomes crowded, the heart restless. In that noise, it becomes difficult to hear the inner voice, to recognize what matters, or to see clearly the path ahead. But when you step into silence and stillness, even for a few moments, something powerful happens. The dust begins to settle, the mind quiets, and truth is subtle, soft, and often ignored, can finally speak. Truth is not something that needs to be shouted or proven. It does not compete for attention. It waits patiently beneath the surface, underneath all the mental clutter and emotional noise. It reveals itself when you stop running, stop talking, and simply listen, not to the world, but to what lies within. Stillness is the space where wisdom surfaces. In stillness, you begin to observe rather than react, to understand rather than assume, to connect rather than chase. And through this connection, you come closer to what is true, not what is imagined, not what is feared, but what simply is. Many people avoid silence because they are afraid of what they might find there. They fill their days and nights with movement and distraction to avoid facing the questions they carry deep inside. But ignoring those questions does not remove them, it only buries them. And buried truth has a way of creating tension, confusion, and misalignment. Stillness, on the other hand, offers clarity. It allows the surface level noise to fall away so that the deeper knowing can rise. This knowing is not from the intellect, it is from presence. It is the kind of understanding that doesn't need explanation. It simply feels right. In silence, you can hear the truth of your own voice. You can feel what is authentic and recognize what is false. You begin to see your choices more clearly, your patterns more honestly, and your purpose more deeply. Stillness is not inaction. It is a powerful form of inner listening. And through this listening, life becomes more aligned. You don't have to force clarity. You simply have to make space for it. Because the truth does not need to be created. It only needs to be uncovered. And silence is the doorway that leads you there.